Sometimes you just have to hit record.
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't have
That
a good.
makes sense.
No good opening for this one. Episode 109. We've got some Philly game recap, some new signings to talk about. Finally, some official. I think since the last time we talked, and I guess more Leagues Cup talk because that is going to be our lives for the next month. But Philly game obviously did not go the way that I think a lot of us would have liked it to, but it probably did go the way that in our heart of hearts, if you had asked us to make a legit prediction about what would happen, it only makes sense that the Union is going to scrape a 14-game, non-winning NYCFC team
At home.
with the form that we're in at home of all places.
Yeah. It's not the fact that we lost. In my opinion, it's the way that we lost. And just the false hope at the end to think that we are going to go scrape away a point.
Well, I think a little bit of like the false hope at the beginning too. It felt I think we looked good at the start, and it's sort of like a catch-22 because it goes both ways, and I could see it both ways. But a lot of like what Twellman was saying as an announcer at the start was that like we had like a quiet confidence about us. I remember watching the game, and right before their goal, maybe the first 20 minutes, I'm like, we might have 80 to 20% possession right now. I don't think Philly has touched the ball in our half more than one time, but ultimately when nothing is coming from that, it doesn't feel great. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. But I guess we looked confident, but
Yeah. I mean,
quickly unraveled.
looking confident can only take you so far, right? I mean, when there's just clear errors and clear lack of effort happening, like, that just can't. In my opinion, that's just inexcusable. And there's guys that we've really, really put on for and really, really been questioning. Like, why isn't this guy playing more? Why is this guy being quote unquote babied? And why is somebody that not us but a lot of the fan base thinks isn't very good? Why is he playing in that position? I think that game showed it might just literally be effort. I think Nick is seeing that this kid has all the talent in the world, but if he's not going to be putting in the effort, then he's not going to be playing. Point blank, period.
And we're talking about Mitcha?
We are throwing subs at him.
We should I was going to say we have to put an at on it. Maybe right before we dive into the first goal, where I think he was maybe the biggest offender on that play. I think there's a few things worth talking about with the lineup. I think we didn't see Sands. I do want to say that I totally agree with that. I know some people were hoping that he might be able to make it, but 240 minutes in 4 days is sick work. The fact that I saw people making men's national team stock risers and fallers after the Gold Cup. Sands was the top of everybody's list. I'm like happy to see that because a lot of people were throwing around the USMNT C team versus CONCACAF for that, which I didn't like, and I don't think Sands belongs in that tier of players.
He's an A-team sub.
Yes.
If not starter.
Yeah. If given the minutes with the real guys, with the rest of the A-team, like he'll fit in fine.
Literally, yeah, perfectly.
So, unlucky that he can't play, but it made a lot of sense that he couldn't. And then the thing that really just did not make pretty much any sense at all, and unfortunately we didn't get any clarity from Cushing in the post game because people were grilling him on it, was GP not starting the game and then not making an appearance until the 80th minute. When we've at that point been down 2 goals for 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah, and realistically not saving him. There's nothing that you could say we're saving him for. Like, we didn't have a midweek. We're looking at a Sunday game at that.
Yeah, we have a longer rest than ever.
A longer rest than you would normally.
The longest rest we've had all season.
Is inexcusable. And, yeah, that's insane to me.
I was waiting in the post game for him to say he picked up a knock in the last or training or something. He felt a little tightness. And he didn't say any. Like, he had, obviously, the press conference is his every available opportunity to live and die on the decisions he made, and he could go in there and say whatever he wants to back up his things, and he didn't. He literally didn't have an answer. He kind of just circumvented the question, talking about I pick the players that I think are best to win games. And it's like, clearly you don't.
I would say our team MVP would be up there in terms of someone you want to pick.
The most important.
So yeah, inexcusable. I think this is week 2 of us coming on here and saying that unfortunately Nick Cushing did something this week that was inexcusable.
Well, I think
that's one of them.
Yeah, I was going to say week 2, but what I think we have to notice is there's been some midweeks in there because it's been more than 2 games for sure that we've come on here and it's been like, all right, the wheels are starting come off. We've been Cushing supporters. We've been Cushing, not outers, but like,
Acceptors.
hey, you're making poor decisions. We've been acceptors, but now it's definitely at a point where I think he's just over managing. Like, things aren't going his way, and I'm not sure if he doesn't have the confidence to just stick with his original idea. He's like a tinkerer or whatever, but you can't say that you make teams to win games
and not have your best player.
It's just,
that's insane.
Doesn't make any sense. And the worst part for Cushing, honestly, is that GP comes on immediately. We're a completely different team. Part of that, I think, is Jasson coming on too, but immediately gets an assist. Like, what if we have him for all 90 and he can do it. He can at least do like minute 1 to 70, which
he can do a 90. Like
we've seen him.
Let's be realistic. He can do 90.
Yeah. So I don't know what to say. And one thing worth saying too is, like, if there is any, we're worried about fitness in what match week is it? 27, 26? Like, then I think you and the club have done something wrong with managing the fitness of your starting players, because you haven't worked him to a point through 26 weeks, but longer, because there are breaks in there,
where he can do 90.
Where he can do 90 as the most important player.
And you're looking at guys that you can't even imagine that there is some idea of like resting players, because if that were the case, then you're bringing in Nico and you're putting Hack in the midfield for Keaton and giving him a rest that he desperately needs and deserves.
Yeah.
Like, none of it makes sense. I think we're at the point where we're seeing decisions that are just beyond comprehension, but
I don't get it.
But like, beyond just I would, like, if I were the coach, I would be doing something better here. Like that, yeah, I get that. People are gonna have that idea, but like, it's gone beyond that, where it's so clear and it's so obvious that somebody who doesn't even know the game could be like, why is this happening?
Well, yeah, it's like 100% of people that don't have the last name Cushing know that GP needs to be on the field.
Yeah.
Like, casuals know GP needs to be on the field.
And I can't imagine GP being like, hey, boss, do you mind if I play 20 minutes this game only? Like,
no, because he always looks upset. He gets pulled out when he's gotten pulled out early this season. He is not happy about it. We don't see as much of frustration before he comes on the field when he's being treated as a super sub, but you have to imagine it's there too. And I don't know. Maybe we get back to Mitcha and talk a little bit about this first goal. I think far and away we probably saw
Turnbull would never. That's all I gotta say. Turnbull would never.
I was gonna say, we probably saw the worst game from Mitcha in an NYCFC jersey, which, hey, there's not many of them, to be fair. So,
and they're not typically long.
Yeah, they're not typically long because of Cushing for whatever reason. But it didn't look great. He was on that first goal. He's jogging. His
Flat
man
out.
Martinez is his man, 100%.
He got beat in a race by not only Martinez, but, as you pointed out, Alfredo,
which is bad.
Which is ridiculous.
As a 19-year-old.
As somebody with, like, bro, FIFA, I think FIFA has him at like 90 pace or something ridiculous.
And like what we tout you for is like your explosiveness.
Yeah.
And not only your explosiveness, but like your passion and your care.
Just effort would have gotten him halfway there.
Well, and the thing too is, on the play, when you watch it back, when the first ball is played to the guy that ends up playing the ball, like 10 seconds before Martinez is even going to like make a run, as he starts to pick up speed, Mitchell puts his head down. Oh. And at that point, to be honest, he's already like 10 yards behind him. So,
but even that, I believe his speed would have allowed him to at least catch up. But even then, Tavon's got to turn better.
Yeah.
I think he played it probably as good as he could in the moment, outside of turning his body a little bit better and a little bit quicker and not ball watching. Had he just turned, then located the ball and done his thing, I feel like he clears that there.
Yeah.
But mentally, I don't think he was really checked in, because on the second goal is even worse, where he was literally between the ball and the player.
And the goal.
And then it gave up on it, thinking that Barraza was going to collect it. In my opinion, in those situations when you're down, you don't even allow Barraza to make that mistake.
Yeah.
You're booting that as hard as you can.
You take the
into
corner.
a Philly fan's face and breaking their nose.
Yeah.
Giving them
spilling their beer.
Yeah.
Everything.
Making them pass out. That's what you're doing.
Collapse.
Yeah, and absolutely, and not just allowing Barraza to miscue the ball.
Yeah. Well, and I think I guess it kind of comes down to communication when I think more about these two goals. Hack, in a way, he wasn't out in no man's land, but Chanot is obviously pressuring the guy crossing. Tavon is picking up one of two men in the box. And ideally, what probably should have happened is Tavon gets off that man much earlier, and Hack covers who Tavon is covering. And like that's the only reason I don't want to give Tavon a ton of flack, because he's kind of screwed if he does and screwed if he doesn't.
Right.
Because if obviously, I think it was number 7, whoever that is on Philly, Tavon was marking him. If he instead is trying to pick up Martinez's run, why doesn't the guy just cross it to the other open guy? So it's a tough.
But it's also a mental quickness for Tavon to see he's in the middle of the box, sees this cross is not going to be like, if you're in the middle of the box and you have a cross coming from your left side of the box, you see very quickly that ball's not going to land on the guy that you're with. So why not make the mental decision to then go cover or run after the ball or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Like track the ball the whole way and head it away or whatever. Like I just feel like it's very clear in that moment that the ball's not going to go to the guy in the middle.
Right.
So find somebody else, essentially.
Yeah, and I don't know if maybe he's hoping too that somebody is like on that man. Hopefully.
Well, that's the thing is I think he's thinking that Alenich is supposed to be there, or someone's supposed to be there if there is another body over there.
Yeah.
Which Martinez doesn't even exist to Tavon in that moment when he's facing the left corner flag or the right corner flag.
Yeah, not as an option. So somebody else has him locked down for sure. Yeah. And then he turns around and realizes, oh shit, we're getting scored on.
Right.
Yeah. So that's tough to go down early, to go down in the 20th to a 22-year-old. I don't know if he's homegrown, but it was his first MLS goal ever. Gets the place going. You never want to trail against Philly, at Philly. Yeah. It's obviously a nasty fan base and a nasty team to play against.
Worst.
And then we kind of, I don't know, after that, I thought we looked a lot less confident than we did prior to that. I think that kind of knocked us back a peg, and then I think we end up going into halftime, and the second goal happens 50th, 60th, something like that.
Pretty close after.
And like you said, it's just Tavon has to clear it, and I think that's why I said it's a communication thing. Yeah. Either Barraza needs to not only blow through the attacker to get the ball, blow through Tavon to get the ball, or you have to tell him get the fuck out of the way, I got it, or Tavon, I got it. Something.
Tavon needed to make his mind up.
Yeah.
Because it almost seemed like Barraza pulled back to be like, oh, it looks like he's
well, I think it looked like Barraza pulled back and Tavon pulled back.
Yeah, both at the same time.
Yeah, and then dude was like, well, I'll just get a free goal then.
Which, for me, I don't know, not to harp on Tavon too much, but it's 1 week you want to be the hero and touch everything, and then the next week you have a phobia of the ball.
Yeah, it's a pretty big inconsistency.
Yeah,
and then we kind of get, I mean, in the way of subs. Well, considering that obviously all of these guys should most likely be starters, but Cushing is making in Jasson
bare minimum, yeah.
Right, but when it comes to Gabi and Sands, obviously these guys should be starters. So these are kind of dummy subs. I don't want to give them too much credit for making the most painfully obvious things that you could make, but Sands comes in, boards it up a little bit. Jasson comes in and I think looks like probably the best player on the field. Maybe Gabi, the only one fighting him for that spot, and they link up for the second homegrown goal in history. 1 week after the first.
Could have been the third.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we already beat the horse with Gabi. It's just the fact that he's not in is pretty unexcusable. Jasson, to me, I think it was just last episode we talked about how these guys like Turnbull or O'Toole, or when a Nico comes in or a Jasson, they are dying for playing time. Yeah. They're literally dying for playing time. Same with Hack. When we first saw Hack come in and obviously go on a super run for a month, they're dying for playing time. And when they get in, it's either going to work out or not, but they're going to try a lot harder than other players you might see. And I think that's what we saw from Jasson ultimately.
Yeah, Jasson was like an engine. Him and Gabi both were just such a bright spark to what was becoming a very dull, just sad performance really from NYCFC. And if not for that goal, you're looking at supporter section who traveled all that way for no reason, for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
For no effort, for no consistency. If that was me, I'd be pissed off, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And so that goal was a little bright light at the end of the game. Obviously, I thought that we'd go down and win, not win, but rescue a point after that. I felt like if not getting a point from this, then what was that for? You know?
Well, and they were lucky enough to get Andre Blake back, who is a thorn in our side. In everybody, honestly, if you're like playing Philly, you have to beat Andre and you have to beat Philly.
It wasn't really a thorn in Davidzia's side.
No,
because that was
the half fielder.
Ridiculous.
But the guy at the end of it, I think it was Santi that almost had the equalizer. Made a very good save on that, and then he didn't make the save, but I think Jasson, before his goal, he had the other opportunity where it came off of Keaton. He was offsides or whatever. But there's something about that guy being in net where it feels like when you see those guys going, like, I don't even know what you would call it. Is it like voodoo? They try to like place a spell on the goal, but it's like, don't you, like at halftime they switch?
Yeah,
like,
facts.
But I don't know.
I never thought about that when I was seeing those videos.
Right?
To be honest, I'm like, oh, maybe they undo it though.
I guess.
The voodoo.
But they take it serious. Like the other team wants to kill them for doing that, for casting
like,
this.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Have a family.
But it feels like in a way when Blake's in goal, that there's some kind of voodoo on that net and keeping everything out. So I guess it's kind of how we expected it to go. Looking back on it,
in a way, result-wise, but in terms of how the chips fell, it was kind of.
I think I'm supposed to be wearing a Man U jersey right now. Just realized.
We didn't get.
I think we got one. We got 1 point, right?
We got
two.
4.
Oh, yeah, we won Montreal. We got 4. Yeah.
Still not 7 though.
Not 7. Nowhere close. Nowhere close.
110. You're wearing a.
So I guess 110. Yeah, for the League's Cup. Hopefully, I don't know what the visa situation is. We should probably talk about some of the new transfers that we have. The Rizzler. Who's that? Oh, Risa, Burke.
I mean, I call him Rizza. I don't know. That's probably not the. Is it Rissa? Like a S?
Well, he's from Norway, so I don't think it would be pronounced with a Z.
Rizza.
I think
or would
in my brain it's Risa, but
in my brain it's Rizza, and it's like he's the Rizzer, and he's about to come in and save this season.
Well, I do have to say, he in his interviews he was giving me Alfredo vibes. I think he literally said, "I am prepared to put my body on the line for this club," and I was like, "This is what this team needs right now."
And honestly, I mean, in terms of the formation that we run, it looks like Tavon might be out of the rotation if Thiago's not fit to go 90 anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one thing we should talk about too, is probably what our best lineup looks like. To me, I assume we probably have very similar thoughts.
Well, it all depends on the visa work too, because we could say all this, they don't get their visas for like 3 more weeks. Like, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
that.
It's hard to say. And we talked about, what do we want to call him? Bakrar, or I forgot his last name. Moonsef Bakrar. That's actually his first name. Bakrar is his second name.
Yeah. So
yeah, I guess Bakrar waiting on the visa there too, but
first goal, he's
Baki
or Baka. Baka's sick.
Baka's the one.
Baka's sick.
So for best lineups, obviously it's going to be Baka up top, left wing. Who do we? This is one of the toughest to me at the moment.
Like in real life, it's got to be Santi, but when Santi is 60 minutes without a goal or an assist or a meaningful play, it's Jasson instantly.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And then obviously Gabi right wing. When we get to the midfield, Keaton and Sands, and that's that. And
but I, in my opinion, I feel like Keaton Sands hack is ideal with a 4-back. But
right. But stuck. I think and this is weird too, because Cushing said that he thinks Risa allows him to get back to a back 4.
So then,
which is just very weird, because I feel like we've already had the pieces to be playing a back 4.
Not really.
I don't know.
No, just because if you are not confident with the defenders you have, more of them is better than leaving one on an island with Chanot.
I guess, yeah.
So if you're thinking,
because in a way,
opinion, it's Santi, Baka, right?
Baka.
Well, yeah, I'd say
instant starter. I think.
I mean, has to start his first game available.
You have to run him out like literally until his wheels fall off.
So it would be Santi, Baka, and Gabi. Then I would do Keaton, Hack, and Sands in the hole, and then I would do Kufre, Rizzler,
It
Chanot,
won't stick.
and Olenich.
I won't
And
let
then
it
I'll do
stick.
Barraza. I'll ask him if he wants that.
No, yeah, we have to ask him if he has any nicknames.
Yeah.
We'll let him. That'll be the first time we let a player decide his nickname. But what about Thiago? How do you ice Thiago out?
Yeah, you don't. He's injured and he clearly needs like limited minutes.
The craziest thing to me is I've seen a lot of people saying that we should start slowly phasing Chanot out of the lineup. When Philly was probably his best game for us this season.
I wouldn't take Chanot out until his legs are literally non-functioning.
Yeah, literally.
I'd
play him one-legged out there.
I'd play him in a wheelchair, bro.
Yeah.
Like Chanot is gonna put in the games.
Yeah, that was crazy because I haven't seen signs of slowing from Chanot at all of age yet.
There was maybe like preseason a few things where I was like, he's getting old.
Yeah.
But then it was like his body got into it and it's not turned back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't understand that. If that's a real.
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
I would go back to the back four. I'd have Sands in the hole because I think that's where he operates the best. And you could almost pivot that as this like 3-back thing that we've been doing. But absolutely need Hack on the field, need Keaton on the field as much as you can. And whichever one gets tired first, you plug Alfredo in.
The only thing with letting Keaton and Hack cook there is I'm a lot more inclined to put like a Richie in over a Hack. As much as I love Hack, I think Richie really has to be there.
At least in the way that I would set it up, I don't really see him playing that same position.
Or even him at like
at
left.
That point, then you're running pretty much Sands and Keaton next to each other again, but Richie at 10.
Yeah, because Keaton's more of like the 8, right?
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I would probably almost rather have Richie out left in lieu of Santi when Santi comes off.
The subs in that case literally could be Jasson for Santi, Talas maybe for Baca, and Richie for GP. Like you're talking about the subs coming in as good as the starters. To me, that's like that's something that's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
Like being as explosive in the second half, or maybe even from the 70th minute on, as you were from the start of the game, is super, super important, super crazy.
I think that's what like Cushing has been trying to get away with GP. Like I think he's overvaluing how important it is to have a good last 20 minutes than it is to have a good first 70.
Right.
Like he's like, if we just bring in all the killers in the 70th for the end of the game, like we'll be fine. Surely we'll get a goal that will save it, or a few goals that will save it.
Yeah.
Overvaluing the first half of the game where we just get slagged for 60 minutes, and then we're always digging ourselves out of a hole, both like point wise and like morale wise, because at that point the guys on the field have now been beaten up mentally.
Yeah, but in my opinion, then you would do the exact opposite. Like you would have GP starting.
Oh no,
you would build a lead.
That's the smart thing to do.
Literally, like have those guys from the beginning, build the lead. Then you put on the Jasons and the Ledesmas that are gonna run until their legs fall off. Like that to me.
That's what I'm saying.
That is the way.
Yeah,
that's the vision.
Right. That is like the easiest answer known to man. Right. But we don't at the moment have a manager.
They should.
That likes it easy.
They should make us the manager.
No, I don't want that. The first Hayes out banner.
That would kill you.
Can't live with it, man.
Bro, to be honest, I'd be the one in the press conference like, and I saw that banner. You're like, but you're not a fan.
Yo, find him. Revoke the tickets.
Security, get his ass.
No, it's crazy. I feel like we could like win 8 games and lose one, and then like have a manager out banner.
If we end up with another interim manager, they should have some like giveaway where they allow a fan to pick the lineup or something.
I know a coach
that could take over.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I know a very vocal coach that could take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But would he allow me to pick his lineup? I doubt it.
No chance.
He'll tell me on Twitter.
I think we are at a point of the subs and lineups that we're seeing that pretty much anybody picked off Twitter could find a better lineup right now. So that's that. Luckily we have the Leagues Cup to, I guess, experiment now.
So if these guys get a visa like tomorrow, could they play?
Yeah. As soon as they have a visa. Well, I guess
Messi
it depends how informed they are, right?
Leagues Cup too.
No, he is.
Like confirmed?
On the 21st, we will see Messi play.
That's crazy.
Leagues Cup ball. And Busquets too, I guess, and
Busquets, yeah.
Jordi Alba, I guess, and who else?
David Beckham's gonna come play a season.
Yeah.
Zlatan's gonna retire.
Suarez is coming, legit, apparently.
I thought he retired.
No, he's at Gremio, whatever. I don't know where that is.
He's like at his home.
Yeah,
club
yeah,
or
yeah.
a boyhood club.
But who's the other guy? So there's Busquets,
So,
Messi, Alba. There was a fourth that wasn't Suarez. I thought another midfielder.
Hazard.
Nah.
Well, Hazard, didn't he leak that he was coming, like himself?
Dude, like a random like kick streamer.
That's crazy.
Not even a Twitch streamer. But I can't remember the other guys. I thought there was like another like Barca midfield legend that was also coming. But
Wow. I just saw something crazy on Twitter.
do you think there's any world where this is like a train wreck for Miami? Or are they going to win every single trophy?
I think MLS is always going to MLS. Like, there's always going to be that parity.
I have like a sneaking suspicion that it is not going to go.
Yeah.
Like, because to me right now, like if I was a Miami fan, and I think even just as a fan of like another team in the league, I'm like, why are we playing soccer anymore if they have all these guys? Like, that is, I think, the expectation between Miami fans and people outside.
Yeah, but
They're like, they're going to win everything. So I think anything less, people are going to be pretty disappointed with. But I just have
I don't think they're going to do anything this season.
I have a suspicion that they're not. I don't know how much you can dig yourself out of the hole that Miami has put themselves in.
Yeah. And I just don't know how much, like, a defensive mid and a left back contribute that much to success.
But if you
like,
get Suarez,
like Messi is going to clearly contribute. But if they get Suarez, like, then Martinez has got to be on the market. And how does another team like NYCFC not go get him?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Like,
How did we not get him in this last transfer
I don't
window?
know.
But
Let's not go down that.
I guess shout out to Corey Clayton with Hudson River Blue. He put out like a thing about the playoffs and what points are looking like. So I'm gonna try to break it down from memory. But I guess historically you need at least 42.5 points to get into the playoffs. But if you have 47, then it's like almost guaranteed you're gonna get in. And for us to get 47, it requires winning 7 out of our 10 last games. That also happens to be the number 7 home games out of our last 10 games. And our away games don't look very pretty. I think Cincy is one of them. I believe DC is the other one. And then, I don't know, there was a team that wasn't quite as good as them as the third. But it requires winning 7 out of 10.
What is that for Miami, though?
That's what I'm saying. So Miami is 2 spots below us in the table. So I think they're probably looking at a win-out scenario. Like 10 out of 10. They have to go 10 out of 10 W's. Like no draws in there.
It might happen if they get that one ref, the one from Columbus. If they get that ref in every game, they might win out.
You think
That's what it would take.
You think the refs are just calling every single time somebody touches a Messi? Same with like Brady in the NFL.
Yeah. This dude might get hit by a car in traffic before he before he even gets tackled in the MLS.
I think he thought he could left turn on red because Europe. I think you're allowed to do that.
Oh, because it's the opposite.
Yeah, it's the complete opposite.
Too.
Yeah.
Like, if you gave that video no context, it looks like he's running from the cops.
Also, if you're the cop, you got to turn the lights on.
But also the siren.
When you see the sirens is what I mean. When you see like the Messi running the stoplight, and you also see cars
coming
at 50, like blowing by. Like, let's try to help people be more aware of their situations and just flick a siren on.
If that was Tom Brady, the sirens would be on.
They were on from when he left the Publix.
Did you see what they're saying is like everything he's been doing is monetized?
Yeah.
Shopping at Publix.
Well,
it's a sponsor.
Aren't they a sponsor of Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drives an Audi. That's another sponsor of MLS.
Yeah.
Something else I forgot.
I mean, he's making more money than God per week, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if all of those players are going to be enough to dig out of that hole. My suspicion is that it won't be. I think people are going to be surprised by people outside of the MLS are going to be surprised by the quality of MLS. Is what I'll say.
What I'll say is we've already taken one Inter Miami captain's season. What's another? Could you imagine?
Don't call for that.
Could you imagine?
Don't call for that.
Could you imagine Alfredo tackles Messi and just?
You think Messi's getting the armband for sure? I don't even know who is the captain.
What are the odds? -10,000? Like, I don't know.
Minus $1 billion.
He might not.
Donna Dotson. Yeah, I guess he will. I mean, if we play, I guess you have to give Matty a run at Miami. Once
I don't think you do. You don't have to do nothing.
No, actually,
Shit.
what I just realized, this is literally like the manager's office for our team, like hours before a Philly game. I guess we got to give Matty a run, right? And everyone, I guess everybody's a yes man in our assistant, because Matty gets a run. He always does.
I think they should make Esteban an interim.
An interim, yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know his ball knowledge, but like I said, I'll pick any guy off Twitter to do our lineups from here on out.
I think he knows the players well enough.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. Well,
and he speaks every language that you could think of.
That is really important.
So
we've rambled.
We have waffles.
Leagues Cup. Oh, what we should talk about? Talles.
What's there to talk about?
Apparently, people say that the club wants Talles out to Palmeiras.
It doesn't really benefit us, but it I don't know. That would be crazy. Like, if he really does go, we're looking at going 0-2 on the Brazilians that we thought were going to be world beaters. Like, that we thought were going to
Thiago?
Like, we thought that those guys were going to leave before Tati. I think we're on record saying that.
What about for DPs, like, all time? Our ratio is bad right now. Like Medina, I think Thiago is the only one we've hit. Santi, I would not call a profitable DP right now.
No.
So we're like, I don't know about that was bad.
Awful.
Like, we're
I think the last one had to have been Villa.
Yeah.
He was a DP, right?
I don't know. I would assume so.
Or was he like, I don't know, somehow weirdly not?
We got the Inter Miami treatment when we were founded.
I hope we get that soon.
Yeah. For the stadium, I think.
At least bare minimum.
I have to believe.
They have to give it to us the year before so that we can sell out.
Yeah.
That season.
It might be like pure cope, but CFG has to want to recoup their investment on the stadium, and like literally the only way to do that is going to be selling out Willets Point every single week.
Yeah.
Because we have, I don't even know who in 4 years from now would be like there won't be one. There won't be a Messi caliber 4 year. Haaland will still be of his game. Mbappe, I don't know.
Oh, like a Messi.
Like who will be Messi when our stadium is it's 2027, I guess.
What is that? 4 years?
Yeah.
People retiring in 4-ish years.
I don't think anybody will have the draw.
Maybe like a Bernardo.
He feels even old right now. He's like 32, right?
I think he can do it. Or like a Mahrez.
Yeah. Mahrez though is. I just don't think there's not another Messi in the wings right now that exists.
Like that type of player, yeah. I don't think that.
That will have like a Beckham or a Messi type draw in America.
But yeah, in 4 years, Foden will still be too young.
Haaland too young. Maybe Pep. Maybe we just go the manager route instead of player route.
Asensio.
I don't know.
But he's not the same type.
I don't know.
And he's not even a pull. But like, I don't know. We got to do something.
I don't even know how we got here.
I don't either.
Oh, Talles.
Oh, but it might if we do end up selling him, I think it's a crazy failure for all of the Brazilians outside of GP, who's still, I mean, he's less of a question mark than any of them have ever been, but like still kind of a question mark if he can do it consistently every single week, be that guy. But he's looking like the leader of that pack.
Yeah. Oh, far and away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not close.
And I just think with all these failures at the DP spot, like watching the U21 Euro final just highlighted how much talent there is on these teams' benches, with kids like dying to go play. And like, even if we were to get them for 3 months, 6 months, to let them come make a name for themselves, put some money on their price tag, and loan them back, like I don't see the problem in that. Yeah, maybe it's like the fact that they don't want that super long season, but when you're young, you kind of have to grind like that. You know what I mean? Like
Tati did it
and
paid off
as a much older person than these U21 kids. Like I just see players who are dying on the bench of United and City and Spanish clubs, all these kids that are just there playing U21 ball, and they could be coming and destroying the MLS getting a name for themselves, lifting the league up in the process, that they're literally a loan deal away. Like, they're dying to go play football somewhere.
For some reason, MLS doesn't do a ton of loans, and
I know, it's weird.
I'm not sure what the reasoning.
I think it's because the reason is because they would be loaned to the MLS, and then everyone has to bid on them. So, like, CFC can't be like, I want that guy.
Yeah.
Unless everyone is in agreement that they're going to let you go do that.
Yeah. Or, like, if a club is looking for, not only if we're looking for a specific player, but if a club is looking for, like, a specific system that they like, right, that they've seen, to go and, like, give their player experience in that role, it just makes it impossible. I don't know. Hopefully, one thing that I do really like about all this messy stuff and everybody that's coming along with him is that I think it'll probably force MLS to make a bunch of changes to rules. Or I hope so. Because otherwise, I have no clue how they're doing what they're doing.
I think, like, we've just got to get on schedule with everybody else. Like, we have enough eyeballs that would transfer to that system.
Also,
like, if we were gonna, we're holding down this Saturday night schedule. Like, that works with Prem in the morning, Serie A in the morning, Bundesliga in the morning. That all happens.
That works with the NFL. Because that's what they're concerned about too. Like, as much as I think they're concerned about competing with leagues around the world, so they kind of want the off schedule, I think they're also concerned about competing with non-soccer leagues in America.
I mean, we're both fans that would easily watch Red Zone and NYCFC at the exact same time.
Also, the truth is, a lot of sports fans in America, like, or at least when it comes to us, especially during football season, like, the weekend is pretty much completely dedicated to sports, like, more or 100%. Less, or at the very least, like, a Sunday is completely dedicated to sports, or
the sports is literally with you on your phone wherever you go.
But the thought behind it, I guess, is like everybody during those times where the most important games and sports are being played, like the NFL, when it comes to America, like, at that point, people are very open to watching other sports. I think watching, like, Pat McAfee, they're like watching golf or tennis or, like, ping pong because you're fired up after seeing the Thursday night game, and on Friday you're like, holy shit, bro, like, I need to see some type of competition. And I think if you can mix in, like, a marquee, and that's the other thing, I think we have to start doing marquee games like the NFL, where maybe not Thursday nights because that would be locked down, but like a Friday, Saturday. So instead of all the teams playing at 7 p.m., all the teams play literally, like, you just have to adopt the NFL model. I mean, it's so, and do it on Saturdays, and then the NFL's on Sundays. Like we said, everybody cares about sports, and they'll throw it on, and the more they catch games that are good, it'll grow. But yeah, I don't know how we got from Tales going to Palmeiras.
Just in general, like, it makes sense for the MLS to adopt some of the other things that work for other leagues. Like, we're no longer in that infancy, I don't think, anymore. Like, we're able to kind of break out of the shell that we had to be in to grow, to become what this is now.
Yeah.
And so even if you're playing on Saturday, it's like, I don't care about college football. I'd assume that's something that they're thinking about competing with.
Yeah, I guess.
But even that, like, that's pretty much all morning. Like, we're talking about playing at 7:30 at night. There's the 4:30 game.
Yeah, you could do 4 and 7
Like,
windows.
and then, in my opinion, the idea to have a marquee matchup either on Friday or Sunday, like, that's super ideal. Like, I would totally watch the marquee MLS matchup right alongside that Sunday Night Football, 100%.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's, like, I think probably increasingly popular for people to have multiple things on at once. You look at even Apple TV with MLS, they have, like, embedded as an option or, like, a service on Apple TV to, like, Octobox if you want to, up to an Octobox. So you could go 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever you want. And yeah, like you said, I mean, we do that even when we watch NYCFC games. We throw teams that we, like, loosely care about or want to see how they're doing on smaller screens while we watch NYCFC. Sound off on those and listen to the commentary of New York. But yeah, I think people do the same. Like you said, I mean, we do that. Because there is some overlap for, like, playoffs and stuff. Yeah. So we've watched, like, MLS next to NFL. Yeah. And it's just,
it makes it more enjoyable.
It's a low hanging fruit way for people to get into it without having to fully buy in and go out of their way to watch things. So I don't know. It's worth saying that the Palmeiras manager and sporting director both said that they have no intention of getting Tales.
Yeah. Who does?
Why would you want to?
Yeah.
I guess unless it was for very cheap.
I don't even think other MLS clubs would want him right now.
No.
So
People were saying ship him to LA, but like why? Why would LA buy? Why would anybody?
Galaxy?
No, LA.
Yeah, we'll do a trade for
Nah, but then he's gonna go there.
Belonga.
Someone said he'll go there and score a hat trick on us. Or something.
Easily.
Yeah.
That's how life works.
Because truly, it's probably our system and not Talis. Sorry to tell the Talis haters, us included at the moment, but
It is what it is.
we've done a disservice to that young man as much as he has disserviced us.
Factual.
But that's 40 or no,
48.
not 40.
It's 40 minutes.
40 minutes, but episode 109.
140.
109, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll be at the Leagues Cup game, God willing.
God willing.
God willing. Waiting to hear back on credentials. So
God willing, but basically Esteban willing.
yeah. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Obviously, Twitter's the spot at Post90Pod. Everywhere is where you'll find us. So we'll catch you guys in 110.
Peace.
Peace.